This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. Billings Fire crews battling a fire just south of Interstate 90 tonight as strong winds whip through the region.
Now, the fire burning south of the I-90 frontage road apparently devoured 2 barns, and the fate of 13 horses remains in question. Those flames first reported just after 7:30 this evening, burning within a few hundred yards of the south frontage road. Take a look. This map shows the general location of the fire that's burning between I-90 and the Yellowstone River. The Billings Motorcycle Club's site is across the river just to the east of that location. Now, the owner of the property tells Q2 tonight the 2 barns appear to be total losses. There is a corral with 13 horses plus a rental home on the property. At this time, we don't know the fate of the horses or whether the renters were at home when the fire broke out. Billings firefighters, the Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office, and the Montana Department of Natural Resources are on scene. Q2's Brandon Sullivan reports that one eyewitness told him he did see 1 dead horse. And the latest development is strong winds have apparently spread the flames to an island in the Yellowstone, and crews have brought in a boat in an attempt to reach those flames and prevent them from spreading. Brandon Sullivan says from his viewpoint, though, it appears that crews have the barn fire somewhat under control. However, we are still waiting confirmation on that from authorities. No information yet as to what sparked this fire. Obviously, this is a developing story. You can find the latest updates right now at ktvq.com and on our Q2 Facebook page. And on the weather scene, those strong winds definitely not helping the fire scene south of Billings tonight, Bob.
We could not have picked a worse time to have this happen because we have a cold front blowing through right now. And let me show you what our current winds are. Here in Billings, it's gusting to 32 miles per hour right now. Elsewhere around the region, a lot of 20 to 30 mile per hour winds gusting. So it's pretty bad. It looks like this high wind is going to stay with us, as you see in our forecast, right on through the rest of the night. And it really isn't until about 7 o'clock in the morning when we see the wind die down to about 16 miles per hour. Then eventually it continues to drop all the way down to about 7 miles per hour on Thursday and through much of the night. So really, this is the worst time, and it continues to kind of blow throughout much of the evening until probably sometime tomorrow morning. So here's what we have. We also have this red flag warning. This is kind of like closing the barn door after the horses run out, but we have this red flag warning for wildfires across all of eastern Montana tonight due to the strong gusty winds and the cold front blowing through. And the temperatures, well, they are continue to drop. They'll go from 58 degrees this hour and down to about maybe 31 degrees about this time 24 hours from now. Jay, Jeanelle?
All right, thanks, Bob.
Montana's 2017 fire season appears to be the most expensive in state history. This year, nearly 1.3 million acres burned across the state. The Legislative Fiscal Division says the estimated cost to the state is as much as $74.2 million. State leaders budgeted about $32 million, and the governor's emergency fund covered another $12.5 million. But that still leaves a shortfall of some $29 million for fiscal year 2018 alone. And it leaves no fire funds left to cover the following year. By the way, the next most expensive fire year in Montana was back in 2007. That year, the fires cost the state close to $50 million. Fees to enter 17 national parks, including Yellowstone Glacier, could more than double by next year if a proposed increase is approved. Now, the proposal would up vehicle fees from $30 to $70 during peak season from May through September. The Interior Department reports the hike in fees would increase national park revenues by $70 million a year. Under the Federal Lands Recreation Enhancement Act, 80% of entrance fees remain in the park where they are collected, while the remaining 20% can be spread to other national parks. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke says the fee increase is needed to address aging infrastructure in the parks. He says it will, quote, ensure that our grandkids will have the same, if not better, experience than we have today. The public comment period lasts through November 23rd. Visitors can still purchase the America the Beautiful Pass, which gets you into the national parks for 1 year for $80. President Trump brushing aside claims that the Republican Party is divided just one day after 2 members of his own party accused him of being a danger to democracy. One of the president's most vocal critics, Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, continues to speak out against him. Today, the president fired back. Seth Lemon reports from Capitol Hill.
President Trump traveled to Texas for a GOP fundraiser. Before he left the White House, he brushed aside divisions within his own party.
Honestly, the Republicans are very, very well united.
None of this is normal.
The president's comments came just a day after Arizona Senator Jeff Flake blasted him on the Senate floor, citing Mr. Trump's behavior as the reason he won't seek re-election next year.
His poll numbers are terrible. He's done terribly for the great people of Arizona, a state that likes Donald Trump very much.
In an op-ed published in the Washington Post, Flake called on other lawmakers to speak up, writing, quote, "We can no longer remain silent, merely observing this train wreck passively as if waiting for someone else to do something."
The longer we go, the more this behavior is normalized, and that is a problem.
Flake's Republican colleagues here on Capitol Hill have refused to open fire on President Trump.
I'm still on very good terms with the president.
He's very focused on getting results.
Almighty God.
But Wednesday, the Senate chaplain, Barry Black, did hail Flake's courage.
Lord, provide us with more patriots who will stand for right.
The president says the party stands behind his agenda, particularly on issues like tax reform.
We want tax cuts for the middle class. We want tax cuts for businesses to produce jobs.
GOP leaders are aiming to pass a tax bill through the House by Thanksgiving break. Seth Lemon, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In other news tonight, more questions emerged surrounding the tiny Montana firm that landed a huge contract to help restore power to Puerto Rico.
The potential connection between Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, who also lives in Whitefish, now has many lawmakers questioning the deal. Renee Marsh brings us the story.
How many employees does it take to win the biggest power restoration contract in Puerto Rico? Well, just 2 at a company in northwest Montana. That unlikely answer is now puzzling many in Washington.
This is our mobile command center that we brought down for the storm.
Whitefish Energy Holdings is just 2 years old and had just 2 staffers when Hurricane Maria struck Puerto Rico last month. Yet on September 26, it was awarded a contract worth up to $300 million to rebuild part of the island's decimated power grid. The company now has hundreds of contractors working on the island and a goal to ramp up to 1,000.
We plan to be here until everyone has power.
But its home base is a world away in Whitefish, Montana. One of the most well-known residents in the small town of about 7,000 is Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke.
As a son of a plumber and a kid who grew up in a small timber town and a railroad town in Whitefish near Glacier Park.
Whitefish CEO Andrew Tekmansky knows Zinke and has reportedly reached out to him to free up more resources. A spokeswoman at the Interior Department tells CNN Zinke did not respond to the request and played no role in awarding the contract, but acknowledged Tekmansky sent the secretary an email. The spokeswoman added Zinke and Tekmansky know each other because they both live in a small town where everyone knows everyone. Adding to the mix, an investment firm run by Republican donor Joe Colonnetta lists Whitefish as one of its investments on its website. According to the Federal Election Commission, Colonnetta and his wife contributed more than $20,000 to Donald Trump's presidential campaign and more than $30,000 to the RNC last year alone. But Whitefish told CNN's Bill Weir there's nothing fishy about its contract with Puerto Rico.
You're a brand new company, right?
We've been around for a few years, and we specialize in difficult and mountainous terrain projects, so all I can say is we took the call and we're here.
They called you?
We called each other.
On the other end of that phone call, PREPA, Puerto Rico's publicly owned utility company. Its director told CNN the cash-strapped island chose Whitefish because it didn't require a deposit.
In that moment, we were not in a position to offer that collateral. The other company did not ask for a guarantee of payment.
While no wrongdoing is being alleged, Democratic Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez is demanding answers.
We need to protect taxpayers, but we also need to protect the people of Puerto Rico, and the way to do that is by making sure that we hire the company that has the experience and the capability.
Renee Marsh reporting there. Well, still ahead on tonight's 10 o'clock news, dinner just got a little bit easier, all with the push of a button. We'll let you check out the latest addition to Billings.
Plus, this young firefighter's love for saving his community sparked at a young age, and there's no dousing his passion.
And in sports, all 4 Billings teams plus Laurel are vying for state soccer championships this weekend. Scott shows us who's favored.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green.